And welcome to this week's People to People Australia Live, our regular market update to take a look at the latest insights into recent employment and job seeker trends. I'm Mark Green, Western Sydney branch manager here at People to People, New South Wales. On today's show, we'll take a look at the Australian labour force analysis in this week's Stat of the Week. We will also have some new job opportunities across Australia as well as abroad in New Zealand and the UK. And we're joined today by ACON's Marketing and Communications Manager, Matt Akersten, to discuss the upcoming 2024 Honour Awards and what kind of programs and services ACON delivers to improve the health of people in the LGBTQ communities in New South Wales. And lastly, we'll take a look at our social media polls from last week. Let's get started with this week's Stat of the Week. So in July 2024, the Australian labour market showed signs of stability, with the unemployment rate remaining steady at 3.5%. Employment increased by 14,000 people, which indicated a resilient job market despite global economic uncertainties. The participation rate held firm at 66.8%, reflecting ongoing strong engagement in the workforce. The steady unemployment rate and modest employment growth suggests that the labour market is adapting well to current economic conditions. For the remainder of 2024, this trend may continue, though external factors like inflation and global economic shifts could influence employment outcomes. However, the modest growth in employment highlights potential constraints in the job market, possibly due to businesses adopting a more cautious approach amidst economic uncertainties. And that's it for this week's Stat of the Week. Hi, so we're going to look at some hot jobs in Australia. So the first one is a warehouse administrator based in Parramatta. It's paying $31 an hour. We're looking for people who can manage order processing, deal with invoicing, have experience with shipping bookings and using RF scanners, ideally having used SAP or Oracle before. If you're interested to find out more about that role, get in contact with 𝗂𝗏𝗏. The details will be in the link. And then the next job we have is also in Parramatta. So it's for an HR administrator based in the Seven Hills area. It's paying between 70 to 75,000. You'll be assisting, as it says, in recruitment, including job postings and candidate communication, preparing and managing onboarding processes for new hires. Looking for someone who's got similar experience as an HR administrator, and the consultant dealing with that is 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗃, who can be contacted on 8270 9735. And if we look abroad now, so if you're contemplating a career change or seeking your next professional adventure beyond the borders of Australia, we've got some opportunities spanning our offices across New Zealand and the United Kingdom. So we're actively recruiting for in the UK, we're recruiting for an employment associate based in London, external auditor director based in Manchester in the north of England, and a resort general manager in New Zealand for the Cook Islands. So if you want to find out more about those, you can get in contact with the links that are provided. Hi, and I'm very happy to say we're joined today by Matt Akersten, who's the Marketing and Communications Manager at ACON. Hi, Matt, how are you?
Hi, Mark. Good to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
No, our pleasure. First off, Matt, I'd like to ask you, for those that might not be aware who are watching today, can you explain who ACON are and what kind of services and programs that you provide?
Yeah, so ACON stands for AIDS Council of New South Wales. We work across all of New South Wales for the LGBTIQ community. So we have a range of health programs. We have a range of policies and programs we do. We work on mainly sexual health, but we also do a lot about regional New South Wales, helping people who are isolated in the community there. We have a lot of pride inclusion programs, so corporate partners can sign up and learn how to be more inclusive of LGBTIQ people. And so, yeah, we have a range of campaigns, and our aim, of course, is to make life easier, better, and healthier for people who are LGBTIQ across New South Wales.
I mean, definitely there's some very worthy programs there. So ACON started nearly 40 years ago, back in 1985. How has the situation evolved for LGBTQ communities since then? And what are some of the major changes that you've seen throughout these communities, Matt?
Yeah, it's a good question. So ACON started, the AIDS Council of New South Wales started in 1985, like you say, and that was at a crisis point for us in the community. A lot of gay men were getting very sick with HIV/AIDS, and it was a real health crisis. And the government at the time knew, because the activists told them, that the only way to get the word out about sexual health and how people could stay well was for us to take control of the sexual health campaigns and to tell our people what they needed to know about condoms and doing the right thing. So that was all 40 years ago. All the way through the 80s and 90s, it was a terrible time with a lot of people passing away from HIV/AIDS. But of course, medicine has been a real miracle. A lot of people with HIV now live very well. A lot of people know ways to protect themselves from the virus. So we're very lucky, but also there are many other ways ACON can support the LGBTIQ community. One of the big growth areas now is trans people and trans rights. A lot of people realize they're transgender very early on in their lives, and we help and support with information and resources for them. So that's a big branch we have. Also, we do a lot with lesbians, women attracted to women, and a lot of people who are elderly in our community, youth, many different programs for many different stages of life.
And we've certainly, I know, seen some major changes there. But as you say, Matt, there's still a long way to go. And coming up next month, so September, is the 17th year for ACON's. It's the 17th year for ACON's 2024 Honour Awards. Can you tell me a little bit about what these awards are?
Yeah, well, look, first I've got to say thank you to you and to people for presenting the Young Achiever Award, which is one of our favorite awards. The Honour Awards are about honouring those people in our communities who work very hard, achieve many goals in the community, and a lot of them are volunteers and terrific people. They're unsung heroes. So this is the opportunity for us to recognize them with awards and to fill a big hall with people who will celebrate them. So that's the Honour Awards. It happens every year around this time. We open up nominations to the whole community. This year we had almost 300 nominations for the 9 categories. So that's more than we've ever had before. It means that this year's Honour Awards will be bigger than we've ever had in the past 17 years. So we're thrilled about that.
Yeah, and that's great. And I've been to a couple of the awards in the past. Always a good evening and for a very worthy cause as well. So People to People has been a proud sponsor as presenting partner for these awards. I think now, well, for 5 years. Why did ACON start these awards, and what kind of impact has it had on the LGBTQ community?
Yes, there's nothing like it in New South Wales than the Honour Awards. It's a real celebration of our communities and the people who are doing amazing things. It's also a key fundraiser for ACON. All the events we do at ACON help to fund our campaigns and to support the work we do for free for people that need it. So that's the impact we make. And people tell us all the time that they heard terrific stories about people doing amazing things. They learned more about how to take action in their own community, and they get inspired about people doing terrific things, not just here in central Sydney, but we hear stories from Lismore, Newcastle, out in Parramatta, lots of other different places around Greater New South Wales as well. So it's a good opportunity for them to travel and connect with us too.
Great, thank you, Matt. And I guess another question for you is, for you personally, what are some of the highlights for these awards? What are some of your highlights from them?
Yeah, well, I love to recognize the different variety of people that come along. We hear stories not just about businesses that are supporting our community, but for example, some nominees this year are people who are a little bit older now and who have 40 or 50 years experience supporting the community with shows and fundraisers. They're broadcasters. They are very well-known people. Also, on the other side, a couple of the youngest folks are still teenagers, and they are making impacts in their communities. They're helping to create their own programs in their schools to support LGBTIQ people. There are whole festivals in there, pride festivals that have recently opened in their cities. So hearing these stories just makes you so inspired for what's possible, and realizes how it makes you realize how important these journeys are to people, and helps them connect. So that's what I love seeing the most, hearing the amazing stories that I wouldn't normally get to see otherwise.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, Matt. And while entries are closed, tickets for the event are on sale. When is the 2020 Honour Awards being held, and how can people buy tickets?
Yeah, so now we've announced the finalists, and you can read about them at honourawards.com.au. That's our website. And the awards themselves, we're in a new venue now, bigger than ever. It's at Daltone House overlooking Hyde Park in Sydney CBD. And the tickets are on sale now on that website. It's for the 18th of September, Wednesday night. So you can grab the tickets now at honourawards.com.au.
We also have more information on screen and in the comments, so anybody wanting to get in touch can do so. Thanks for joining us today, Matt, and look forward to seeing you at the Honour Awards in September. Finally, let's take a quick look at our social media polls for this week. Okay, so for last week, the poll was, what has been the biggest challenge your team has faced throughout 2024? And the results are in. So the biggest challenge at nearly 34%, so 33.6%, is retaining staff, followed closely by recruiting new staff at 28.2%. So some interesting stats there. And then our poll for this week, for you, what is the biggest benefit of working in a temporary contract role? So is it control over your career choices, higher pay, the ability to work across multiple jobs, or any other reasons? So jump onto people's social media across LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and X to have your say, and also to stay ahead of the job market and be the first to hear about any new job opportunities across Australia. That's it for today. Thank you for joining us for this week's P2P Live. We'll be back next week to cover the latest market and employment updates across Australia at 12:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. See you then.